In this video, we're looking at stem and leaf diagrams. So stem and leaf diagram is a way of visualizing data. So here's an example. Suppose we have these figures, and it doesn't really matter what they represent. Let's say it represents the age of a group of people. Well, here's how we do it. We start off with a little table like this. Now, in some ways, a stem and leaf diagram is just a sort of way to save ink and save space, but it also helps us visualize. So here's how we do it. To represent these numbers, here's what we do. You'll notice that all of these are 2-digit numbers or 1-digit numbers, but we could think of 7 as 07 and 8 as 08. So what we do is we have the first digit in this column. And so that's going to be 0, 1, 2, and 3, because those are the options for these numbers. The smallest first digit is 0, the biggest first digit is 3. Now, here's what we do. We need to keep our columns lined up, but my first number is 7, so that's 0, 7. My next number is 0, 8. Well, that's fairly straightforward, but now for the numbers starting with a 1. So 10 is 1, 0. 11 is 1, 1. There's another 11, so that's 1, 1. 13 is 1, 3. 16 is 1, 6. Then we've got 17, so 1, 7. 17 again. Now we're on to the numbers starting with a 2. So 22 is 2, 2. 26 is 2, 6. Then we've got 28, 28, and finally 36. Okay, so what's the advantage of this? Well, the advantage of this is that each data point takes up precisely 1 digit's width. So I can very easily see the distribution. So I can see, for example, that my data is clustered around the teens, right? The numbers beginning with a 1. And then it sort of tails off around here. Now, that's how we represent it. And it's really important that we keep the columns lined up, or else we lose the fact that this is actually capturing the spread of data. And we'd also want to do two final things, which is one, actually label what this is. So I didn't really say, but let's say it's ages. We would have age here. And the other thing is, the convention is we always have a key, and the key here just explains what this means. So here's what we do is just write key, and we'd say what this, we give any example. So for example, you'd say 2, 6, and you say what that represents. So this represents an age of 26. So that's how you have a key. You just give one example that shows how to read this graph here, or this diagram. Okay, so there's another thing we can do with stem and leaf diagrams, and that is back-to-back stem and leaf diagrams. So these are a little less intuitive, but still not too bad. So let's say we've got two businesses, business A and business B. Let's say they record, maybe this is like how many contracts they had each month. So what we would do is we'd have business A on one side. So I can just put an A here, and business B on the other side. Now I'm actually going to start with B because that's the more intuitive one. So we'll do the same thing as before. So the smallest number has a leading digit of 0 because of 0, 8. And there's 1s, 2s, 3s, and 4s. That's the largest number here. So I'll start with B's. That's the same as the one before. So you've got 0, 8. Then you've got 11, so 1, 1, then 14, 1, 4, then 18, then 18. Then you've got 25, 29, 32, 38, 39, 41, and 45. Now, for A's, you have to read it in reverse. So 14 is 1, 4, and 16 is 1, 6. 17 is 1, 7, 17 again, 18, 19. Then you've got 22, 26, 28, 29. Then you've got 30, so 3, 0, and 32. So how does this help us compare sets of data? Well, because of the symmetry of this, you can fairly easily see how the spread of data differs. For example, I can see that the values for business A are much more concentrated, they're much more grouped together, whereas B's are much more spread out. right? B goes all the way down to 8 and all the way up to 45. So there's a bigger range, but also you can just see it's more smoothly spread out, and A is much more tightly clustered. Now, you can also interrogate the data further. Once you've got a stem and leaf diagram, it's fairly easy to work out things like medians and interquartile ranges because your data is ordered. You can also do things like find the mode by just seeing which number appears the most. In this case, I'm just looking for any row that has any data appearing twice. So for example, I see 8, 8 here, 18 appears twice, no other number does here. And so 18 was the modal value for B. We see that again in the list. And for this one, we had 17 appearing twice. And so that was the modal value there. Finally, we do need a key. So the key here is just a touch more complicated. You can just pick any numbers here, but essentially here's what you're showing. You would say something like, now, why don't we just take these ones here? It doesn't even need to be from your data, just 0, line 3, line 2. That means a value of 30 for business A and a value of 32 for business B. So I just need to say that means, now I didn't actually say in the question what these represented, but let's just say this is number of contracts. So it means 30 contracts for A and 32 for B. So we always just explain what this sort of notation actually means. Let's explore this further with some exam problems. So here we have the 19 employees of company take an aptitude test. The scores out of 40 are illustrated in the stem and leaf diagram below. Here they are. So can we find the median score? Well, yes, we can. That's not too challenging. We've got 19 employees. So to find the median, well, 19 plus 1 over 2 is 10. So we're looking for the 10th value. Simply count through because they're ordered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and that's 33. So 33 is the median score. Now for the interquartile range. So recall that it's not really a trick, it's just a method for finding the lower quartile. You just take your number as is and divide by 4. When we divide 19 by 4, we get 4.75. And since it's a decimal, you round up to the nearest whole number. And then to find the upper quartile, you just take that value and multiply it by 3. When you do that, you get 14.25. And since that's a decimal, you round up to the nearest whole number. So I'll just go through my data, underlining the 5th and the 15th. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 24, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So 40. So the lower quartile is 24. The upper quartile is 40. And therefore the interquartile range is 40 minus 24, which is 16. And so 16 is the interquartile range. Okay, onwards, the company director decides an employees whose scores are so low their outliers will undergo retraining. An outlier is an observation whose value is less than the lower quartile minus 1 times the interquartile range. It's a slightly non-standard definition of an outlier, but that's fine. So what is that going to be? It's the lower quartile, which is 24, minus 1.0 times the interquartile range. So 24 minus 16 is 8. So that's the cutoff point. Anyone whose value is less than that is an outlier. So explain why there's only one employee who will undergo retraining. We'd just say one employee got 7 and everyone else got more than 8. Therefore, 1 retraining. Okay, let's have a look at exam question involving back-to-back stem and leaf diagram. The age and years of residents in 2 hotels are shown in the back-to-back stem and leaf diagram below. So we've got Abbey Hotel over here, and then we've got the Balmoral on the right, and we've got a key in the middle. So for the Balmoral Hotel, so that's the one on the right, write down the mode of the age of residence. So we're just looking for whatever appears most often. So I see 34 appearing twice. I see 2 zeros here. But look, there's lots and lots of zeros here. So that's 50. And just as write down 1 mark, there's the answer. And also for the Balmoral, find the values of the lower quartile, median, and upper quartile. Well, I need to know how many data points there are, so I can just add up these numbers. 1 plus 3 is 4, plus 6 is 10, plus 9 is 19, plus 6 is 25, plus 3 is 28. So my lower quartile is 28 over 4 is 7, since it's a whole number. Push it up by 0.5. For the upper quartile, it's going to be that number times 3, which is 21. Not round, but push that up to 21.5, and that's for the upper and lower quartile. For the median, it's 28 plus 1 over 2, and that's 14.5. So these give us the positions. So we want the 7.5, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Here's 7 and 8. They're the same number, and so that's 45. So now on to the median. So we've got 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. There's the 14th and the 15th. So halfway between those is the is 50.5. So there's the median. On to the upper quartile, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So 21, 22. Both of those are 63. And so 63 is the upper quartile. Let's just list those out neatly. We've got a lower quartile of 45, an upper quartile of 63, and a median of 50.5. And we're done. Onwards, so given that residence Abbey Hotel, the median age was 36 and the interquartile range was 17, comment on the differences between the ages of residents at Abbey and Balmoral Hotel. So when you want to make these comments, if they don't tell you what to comment on, you want a comment on the average and a comment on the spread. So the average is straightforward because the median age of Balmoral was 50.5 and at Abbey it was 36. So we say the average age of residence was higher at Balmoral. Now we want to comment on the spread. Now we have the interquartile range for Abbey, but we don't yet have it for Balmoral, so we'll just work it out. So at Balmoral, we can do the upper quartile minus the lower quartile, which is 18. So what can we say? Well, the interquartile range was a little bit higher at Balmoral than it was at Abbey. So we've got really two options here. They're so close. We could say the spread of data was similar at the two hotels, or we could say the spread of data was a little higher at Balmoral. Since they're only one apart, I'll just use the word similar. So I said the ages had a similar spread at each hotel, but you would get the marks if you said was a little higher. You wouldn't get the marks if you said it was much higher or if you got it in the wrong direction, but usually mark schemes allow for some nuance there. So I hope that's been a useful look at stem and leaf diagrams. I'll see you in the next video.